Your specific person has been trying to reach you and trying to come into your reality, and all you have to do is answer that call. And let me actually start you off, as always, with a Neville Goddard quote that I think we're going to build off from and make all of this make sense. So obviously you can answer your specific person's call and then see them in your reality for the holidays. So Neville Goddard wrote, "Man's assumptions, which he regards as insignificant, produce effects that are considerable. Therefore, man should revise his estimate of an assumption and recognize its creative power." So again, in your reality, the way in which your specific person is showing up is completely apparent or connected to the assumption that you are having. And so think about it in this way. You can't actually view or see anything in your reality that isn't first gone through your own assumptions and your own beliefs. So whenever you think of your specific person as not acting in a positive way towards you, or not reaching out to you, or not caring about you, which again are totally false ideas, it is all because we are running it through our own beliefs and totally misinterpreting how our specific person is actually showing up or actually trying to come into your reality. So think about it in this way. Your assumptions are that their actions are negative, okay? So if you see something less than positive that your specific person does, that's going to be the first initial idea, right? You're going to state or think they are doing something negative. But in reality, this just means that you are running it through the filter of yourself. So it means you think if you were doing that specific outcome, that you would be doing something negative. But again, we are basically misinterpreting and totally not seeing the positive outcomes that your specific person is trying to actually send you. And the way or reason this is, and why you might experience something negative, but it actually be something really positive, is very easily or simply put. I'll explain it in this way. So a lot of times when you think or reach any sort of extreme, it becomes its opposite. So think about being loved. Think about being obsessed over. So in a lot of coaching sessions, a lot of people want to be obsessed over, but they don't realize what that actually means. So to be obsessed over can actually create what we would feel is a negative outcome. So bear with me here. So whenever you reach any extreme, it's going to immediately look like its opposite. So when you get to a drastic or extreme amount of love, it's going to slightly look like hate. In the same way, when you get to an extreme amount of hate, it can slightly look like love. And I'll give you an example again of this so it makes a lot more sense. Think of your specific person. So again, everything is under or reviewed and set under our own assumptions. So if your specific person isn't texting you, or let's say they're responding very negative to you. Take, for example, this idea that potentially they're so obsessed with you that it's actually viewing in the opposite. Think about how you react towards your specific person. Let's say you want to text them more. Let's say you want them to call you more. Let's say you want them to go on more dates with you. I would imagine you really care about your specific person. Okay? Am I right? But take for a moment and just think, what if they cared about you in the exact same way? How do you react to them when they don't text you, or when they don't call you, or when they don't go on as many dates as you would like to go on with them? You respond with... So again, this is where it goes extreme. You care about them so much, it actually responds with a dislike. Right? Your attitude is to dislike them. Like obviously you still love them, but your actions are actually in the opposite. Right? You are so obsessed with the time and you care so much about spending time with them and loving them and being with them that any moment that is not with them is actually producing a sense of dislike within your body. And so that's what we want to remember. So again, your specific person's actions are not negative. And again, I've said this in multiple different videos and hopefully it's really making sense now, but they are trying to come into your reality, but we are just not accepting it. And so when we see something that we would refer to as negative outside of us, it's actually because it is in the extreme in the opposite. And let me tell you, this can be extremely confusing at first. Right? When you think of kind of trying to reevaluate or reframe everything your specific person is doing in this way, it's not going to come automatic. Well, it can come automatic, but at the first, don't feel bad if it does not come automatic to you. Because again, everything that is ever being done by anyone is actually being done to the best of their ability. So if you think about it in that way, what your specific person does or what you do, you would always say is positive. But think back to that example in which you responded with a dislike to your specific person because they didn't text you. But you think your assumptions and your mindset would be thinking that by doing this, we are going to receive more attention from our specific person. So in essence, the whole goal or reason as to why you actually were motivated to do that in the first place had everything to do with because you drastically loved your specific person. But the same thing is happening in response with them. And again, the only reason why we perform or think of it as being a negative outcome is because we are assuming if we were doing it that we would be negative. But so then you've heard me in other videos mention there's no such thing as something negative, right? Our reality is never negative, although we perceive it in that way. Because again, if we remember, every single person is doing actions that they think take them towards the most loving and abundant outcome, which to your specific person is you, whether or not you want to believe that. Since they're always doing what they feel is good and righteous and amazing, then the only perception of negative, because everybody would then be doing good in their reality, the only perception of it being negative would then be from the opposite individual or for us, right? So we are perceiving and taking something positive, which again, might not seem that way. Again, when they're obsessed with you, they're going to show up in the opposite way sometimes, or what we perceive to be the opposite, even though it is a perfect characteristic of their absolute and complete love towards you. But sometimes we're going to view that as kind of evil or bad or not so good. But in reality, it was good entirely, in the same way that you would say that your intention or desire to give I know we don't mean to, but give slight dislike towards a specific person when they don't text us, the whole goal is to get more communication from them. But what if you were to look at it from their perspective? What if you jumped into their mindset? They care about you, they love you, they've been trying to reach you, and let's say that happened. They didn't text you, and then you responded with an aggressive message back to them. How do they feel, right? They feel neglected, right? They feel like they loved you. They cared about you. They want to text you. They want to give you their utmost time. And we responded with a negative outcome. And so that's again showing there is no negatives in your reality. And I know this may sound strange at first. Your specific person is already showing up in the way you want. We're just not perceiving it. And if we are not able to perceive it or we find it very difficult, it just means that we're not looking hard enough. Because here's a good quote from A Course in Miracles, I think would be perfect for this instance. So they wrote, "I'm responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked." So think about, just under this idea, contemplate this outcome, that what if in your reality, everything you are receiving is exactly what you are asking for? Because again, if we are viewing or placing the label upon everything, and everything is always good and positive, again, whether you think so or not, then anytime we actually perceive something negative or whatever we actually receive in our reality is exactly what we asked for. Because you can ask for right now you can answer the call that your specific person is trying to reach out to you. You can answer and receive all the love that they're trying to send you. We just have to ask for it in that way. And in order to ask for something different is to just change your perspective on it. So I would actually, anytime you run into any problems or seemingly negative experiences with your specific person, I would actually just jump into their mind. So go from their perspective and go, why would I be doing this if I was obsessed with my specific person, which is you at that point. You are their specific person, and never ever forget that. And so if you were to think, okay, what would I be doing if I was under the contemplation or under the assumption that they were obsessed with you, they cared about you, they loved you, they would do every positive action to be in your reality. Why are they doing this currently? And that's actually a really easy way to reframe it, because I'll say this, I think I said this for the third time already in this video, because I really want this idea to get within our mind. Your specific person is trying to reach you. Your reality is constantly trying to bring you exactly what you want. It kind of goes into the same concepts that I mentioned in previous videos about instantaneous manifestation, right? You have already created everything. Think back to the television set, right? There are multiple channels playing. You're already with your specific person. If it weren't, and you would not be able to manifest them, or you have never been with them in some alternate reality, in some God dimension, you have not already created it, you wouldn't even be able to imagine it. Because again, try to imagine a color that doesn't exist. You won't be able to. And so it's the same thing right now. If you can imagine being with your specific person, then you've already you've already been with them. You've already created that, or your divine self at least has already created it. You just have to step into that idea. So go throughout the day just contemplating that, because you have so much more success than you think you do by a long shot. Even if you think you're successful, you are even more successful than that, because your reality is constantly bringing you what you want and based on your assumptions. So just make sure what you're asking for is exactly what you're asking for. If you did have any questions on this, make sure to comment them in the comment section below. Remember, you can also reach out to me on my website at kyleaugustcoaching.com. That's where you can reach me personally and basically send me or ask me any question that you want, or let me know all of your awesome successes and updates on your manifestation as well. And if you know for a fact you're going to ask for exactly what you want and you're going to receive it, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video. Also, comment the affirmation on this video: my specific person is trying to reach me and I'm going to answer the call, or something along those lines. So again, thank you so much for stopping by today, and I can't wait to see you in my next video tomorrow.